Is the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE worth buying in 2023? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and this is the Galaxy S21 FE. Now, this device was launched back in January of 2022, so at this point, I certainly wouldn't call it an old, outdated phone by any means. However, since it was launched, there have been quite a few other devices that have reached the market, so at this point there's pretty much now more competition than ever before. So I figured it'd be worth kind of looking back on this device to see how it still stands. Now here's the box the phone does come in, and it's a pretty slim box overall. It also has a pretty cool design as well, which is pretty interesting. And then inside of the box, we don't have much. We just have this packet, and it does include a SIM card removal tool. We also have, hidden in here, a quick start guide, as well as a double-sided USB-C cable. But definitely keep in mind that there is no USB wall adapter included, so you're gonna have to either provide that yourself, or plug this phone into your computer to charge it. Another thing worth considering too is that this device does support a maximum charging rate of 25 watts, so if you don't currently have a 25 watt fast charger, then you won't be able to recharge this phone as fast as you possibly can. And that certainly does make quite a bit of a difference. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, we do have a 6.4-inch display, so a pretty large display panel here. And in addition to that, it does feature Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which does make it extra durable. Now the actual display technology that we're getting is dynamic AMOLED, and with this phone there is a 120Hz refresh rate. So things run really smoothly here, and even though this isn't necessarily one of the top-of-the-line devices in the Galaxy S series, at least at this moment, this phone still does feel very premium and high-end. So, especially with the FE series from Samsung, they really try to give you the maximum amount of value. Now the display with this device is 1080p, we are getting a PPI 401, there's a 20:9 aspect ratio, so kind of a more narrow but taller form factor, but pretty consistent with most smartphones that have launched all throughout 2022. We do also have an 89.6% screen to body ratio, so pretty small bezels all throughout. Now up top here, we do have a hole punch, which does house the 32 megapixel front-facing camera, and this particular version of this device does feature 128 gigabytes of storage. Now unfortunately, with the S21 FE, there is no microSD card expansion, so the amount of storage that we are getting here internally here with the phone is the maximum that we are getting overall. I suppose if you want to, you can use cloud storage, but that's certainly not the same thing as having local storage, even if it is a microSD card. Now with this phone, we do have wireless charging, which is a great thing to see, and it does max out at 15 watts. So you will be able to recharge this device wirelessly pretty fast. And with this phone, we have both an in-display fingerprint sensor and we also have face unlock. So let's give the in-display fingerprint sensor a try. And as you can see, very fast and responsive. Let's try that one more time. There we go. So that certainly works really well and it is very convenient. Now on the back of this device, we do have a triple camera setup. So there's a 12 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and an 8 megapixel telephoto camera that does feature 3x optical zoom. Now what's interesting about the cameras with Samsung's FE devices is that we are getting quality that you'd expect with the S series, but at the same time, we're not getting quite as many camera features as you'd find with a fully featured S series phone. So overall, definitely expect to get really good photo and video quality from this device, but if you do want to take things up a notch, then you definitely will want to spend a bit more on a regular S series model. But I would say for pretty much 99.9% of people out there, this phone certainly delivers on what you'd expect with the various cameras. So you'll definitely be able to take excellent looking photos and videos that you'll definitely want to keep for a long time and post on social media. Now here's how things look with the main camera. Then from here, we can switch over to the ultra wide angle camera to fit a lot more content into the frame. We can then move over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. And then also, almost forgot to show you, you can zoom in at 3x, and that is a optical zoom, so certainly a lot better than digital zoom, as it really is zooming, it's not just cropping in. So that's especially useful, nice to have that feature. But then heading back over to portrait mode, you get that with both the rear and front-facing cameras, so certainly a really nice thing to have. And then we also have the ability to do a group selfie too, so you can crop out a little bit to fit more in the frame here. So if you have multiple people that you want to have in one selfie, then certainly using that functionality will get the job done for that. So in general, I'm a really big fan of the various cameras on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, And certainly if you are somebody that's really into mobile photography, then I think you will like this device quite a bit, especially considering that we have so many different camera features and the cameras themselves are very capable. Now with this device, we have 6 gigabytes of RAM paired up with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 processor. Now I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 5, and I'll show you the scores from that test right now. But essentially, I got a single core score of 1081 and a multi-core score of 3227. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of how the S21 FE compares to your current device. But in general, you should expect to get great performance from this phone, certainly no lag. This is a flagship device, so having such a powerful processor certainly will deliver when it comes to being able to play games, high performance games for sure. Editing videos on this device will be great as well. Pretty much anything you want to throw at it, this phone can get the job done. So that's one of the biggest benefits of going this route versus maybe going for the A series from Samsung, if you're not looking to spend too much money, because with this phone, you are getting pretty much one of the best processors that Qualcomm offers. Now with devices like Samsung's A53 5G, for example, people do tend to really like those phones. They are very capable, especially for mid-range devices. However, there are occasionally people who do find frustrations from those devices as they can get a little bit slow as time goes on. So what's great about a phone like the S21 FE is that you really don't need to have those concerns since the processor that we're getting here is one of the best that's out. Now every year, and sometimes multiple times throughout the year, Qualcomm will launch new flagship processors, and they do get better and better as time goes on. But overall, with their 8 series of processors, they do tend to age really well, so I would definitely expect to get multiple years out of this phone while still having it be very fast and responsive. And then back to the topic of video recording, with this device you can record video at 4K at 60 FPS with both the front and rear cameras, so definitely they're capable when it comes to that. And then with this phone, we are getting a pretty large 4,500 mAh internal battery. And then this device does support up to 25 watt fast charging. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, you do not get that 25 watt fast charger included here with the phone. In fact, there's no charger included at all. So if you want to use your existing charger, you certainly can, but definitely check to see what the maximum wattage of it is. And you can find that by multiplying the volts by the amps. So just know that many of the chargers out there tend to not be that fast. For example, the traditional Apple charger that they used to include all the time with iPhones, that's only 5 watts. So if you were to use that charger with this phone, you're essentially getting only 1/5 of the potential that you could get if you were to get a 25 watt fast charger. So I hope that makes sense. It is unfortunate that they don't include it here, but at the same time, I certainly wouldn't want you to be using a slower charger with this phone and then being frustrated that your phone takes forever to recharge. It certainly is worth it spending a little bit of money on a full 25 watt fast charger. Now with this device, we are getting NFC, which means that we do get compatibility with Samsung Pay, which is really awesome. And this phone features IP68 dust and water resistance, so that's certainly another added bonus here. But now that I've gone over a variety of different things regarding the Galaxy S21 FE, let's now take a closer look at the hardware. Now in general, it's a relatively boring phone in the sense that there's not much going on here. You can see that we have a matte finish on the back of the device, and it does feature plastic. Now this phone is high quality, especially when it comes to its build. I definitely think Samsung made the most out of the materials that they had to use here. And it does make sense that we're not getting quite the most premium materials with this phone because Samsung wanted to offer this phone at a bit of a discount compared to their top-of-the-line S-series devices that are made of more premium materials. Now, I would recommend pairing this phone up with some sort of case, just so that it doesn't get too scratched up as time goes on, especially since plastic is more prone to that. Now, taking a look at the left side of the device, we have nothing. Then on the right side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down, and also the power button. Then up top here, we have the noise-canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the slot for the SIM card, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the speaker. So unfortunately, there is no 3.5mm headphone jack here with the device. So if you do want to use your traditional wired headphones with it, you are going to have to get some sort of adapter. So keep that in mind. But in general, I do think the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE is a worthy option, worth considering in 2023. Now, of course, this phone is only a year old, so it's not like it's been out for a really long time. But again, we have gotten many other smartphones that have launched since this device did launch. So with that in consideration, I still think it's worth getting. You definitely are going to want to see what the different deals and offers there are that are out regarding it, and I have linked to this phone in the video description for your convenience. But this concludes my video on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE in 2023. Definitely let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if you already own this phone, definitely share with us your experience while having it. Definitely curious to know. But thanks again for watching. This is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one.